Welcome, everybody. This is the October 28th, 2025 Greenfield Conservation Commission meeting, which is being held via Zoom/hybrid through the John Zahn Community Center at 35 Pleasant Street in Greenfield. Should any technical interruption to the meeting occur and the meeting is suddenly ended, it will not be resumed and all items will automatically be continued to the next scheduled meeting date. Please contact the conservation agent for more information. Just so everybody is aware, this meeting is being recorded by the Greenfield Conservation Commission. And if any other persons are also recording this meeting, you are required to notify the chairperson at this time. Are there any members of the public currently recording this meeting? Okay, hearing nobody, I will assume this is the only recording. I will proceed to call this meeting to order. I'll take a roll call of all members present. I guess we'll start with virtual members. Erica?
Aye.
I can't see who's in John's on, but I'm assuming that we have Emily.
No, Emily and Elizabeth aren't here tonight. It's
Okay, so just Travis.
Present.
Okay, and Kristen is also present. Jessica, did I miss anybody? Just us three?
yeah, that's it. And then
Okay.
me.
Okay. All right, so the first order of business on our agenda is approval of meeting minutes from October 14th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Travis, can you remind me, do we need to do a roll call first and then discuss comments, or do we discuss comments first?
I think it's motion, second, discuss, and then vote with a roll call.
Okay, thank you. I think I screwed that up the last time. Okay, so does anybody have any comments on the meeting minutes from the last time we met?
No.
Travis, do you have any comments?
No, I was just looking through it again, but I don't see anything.
I didn't see anything either. Do you want another second, Travis?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, no further comments. I'll take a roll call and then issue a statement. We'll start with the virtual members. Erica?
Aye.
Maybe I should go next because I'm also virtual. I'm also an aye. Travis?
Aye.
And then just as a statement, approved meeting minutes will become available to the public on our website on the next business day following this meeting, if anybody would like to look at those meeting minutes. We don't have any public hearings scheduled for tonight, but we do have other business and enforcement updates, as well as project monitoring, correspondence, and site visit scheduling. So let's start with new business. The first item on the agenda under new business is a request for a certificate of compliance for 105 Newton Street. This is Mass DEP file number 1680350, which expires on November 22nd of 2025. And this is associated with the construction of 3 storage buildings. Do we want to start with an agent introduction or applicant introduction? Jessica?
I don't mind just doing a brief intro. This is the project at 105 Newton Street. It was building the storage facility, storage units there. And yeah, I'm really excited. We got them in right before the expiration date. They've been super cooperative. I did go and visit the site and took some photos that I can show later, but it does look great over there. And Doug Cyril, am I saying that right, Doug?
It's pretty
Cyril?
close. I say Cyril.
Cyril is here tonight, and he can discuss it in more depth. Go ahead,
Would-
Doug.
All right, thanks. Hi, my name is Doug Searle. I am a landscape architect with Berkshire Design Group, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Jim Boyle with Kitchen Concepts, Inc. For a request of a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 16800350. So the project, just to do a brief review, if may I actually share my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Great, thank you.
All right, of course. It should be. Oh, pardon me for technical difficulties here. Sorry, just one sec. Should do it. Okay, is everybody able to see this plan currently on the screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. This is an as-built plan that was completed last September 13th, 2024, showing the site that includes a series of storage buildings on a site, access off of Newton Street that kind of dead ends into what is labeled Rugg Place, and with an office here and some initial parking for office visitors, and then otherwise the overall facility that allows you to, with asphalt surfacing, that allows you to drive through. There's a large retaining wall here, and then the site abuts wetlands along the northwest perimeter here, and the north, and then a little bit here just straight to the west. And so largely the applicant had completed the project following the plans, with several minor exceptions, one of which is that originally the plans had called out a conservation seed mix to go in around this western and northwest perimeter. And what was installed was a no-mow mix instead. And what we observed in retrospect, after that was installed and that grass was being mowed, there's a tremendous Japanese knotweed population that runs the perimeter of the site. That's very dense. And had we installed a conservation seed mix in this area, followed by limited mowing regimes to promote its establishment, it largely would have been taken over by Japanese knotweed, and then the site would have had a massive Japanese knotweed infestation all throughout the area that is otherwise, the kind of the maintained landscape around the storage facilities. And so we find that the no-mow mix with regular mowing is greatly beneficial to help kind of hold that line of defense, line in the sand, so to speak, against the spread of Japanese knotweed. We commonly see shoots coming in all through the west and northwest here, where it is seeding over the perimeter fence of the site. And so we find that is actually that planting the no-mow mix is actually a very good move for the site. The second thing that I wanted to point out, that there were 66 shrubs that were proposed, and 66 shrubs and trees were proposed on site, and only 2 have to date have not survived. That is otherwise a 97% survivorship rate. So we find that to be well above kind of a standard 70% or 80% survivorship rate. And so we don't have any issue with that unless the commission does. We wouldn't ask the client to plant 2 additional plants unless you felt that it was necessary. And lastly, wanted to point out our engineers had observed that the rain garden, which is on the north side of the wall here, I'm circling my mouse over a series of contours in this area, which is where the rain garden was proposed. It is slightly smaller than what was originally designed. And given that, the engineer that designed it went back through and reviewed the original design calculations for it and discerned that what was originally proposed would store 774 cubic feet of water below the overflow elevation. And as it's built, it is only storing 660 cubic feet below the overflow elevation now. And while that's less than the design volume, this storage volume exceeds the 0.5-inch water quality volume associated with the impervious area discharging through the rain garden as required by the Stormwater Handbook. And so in addition, the rain garden was included for only for water quality, but was not accounted for in the overall runoff calculations for the site. So Chris Chamberlain, who is authored, who's the principal and civil engineer for this project, who's the one who reviewed the rain garden design and its current capacity, had relayed that in his opinion that the as-built condition meets the design intent of what was approved by the order of conditions. So those are the main things that I wanted to point out, and wanted to bring it back to you guys to see if you have any questions.
I would just like to add that in the order of conditions, one of the special conditions was that there be at least a 75% survival rate for all the plantings. So according to the calculations of it being, I think you said 97, that condition has been met.
How long is that? Is that supposed to be a 3-year monitoring?
No,
or is
just
that
that was just 2 years. So it's been
just a
2
2-year? Okay.
years. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can also show the photos now. This might be a good time to just show the photos real quick.
I'll
that
stop
I've
While
sharing.
you're
shown.
pulling those up, Jessica, I also wanted to point out that special condition 77 stated that only native plant species should be included, and I don't know what the seed mix alteration was, but did the agent or was there any administrative approval or commission approval of the change of seed?
This definitely occurred during Mitch's time, and I am not aware of correspondence. Do you know, Doug?
The ultimately it is a good question, and I can't speak to whether that was if there was any administrative approval on that. I can say that the NOMO seed mix was part of the plan for portions of the site, but not the entirety of the site. And so it was installed in the proportions that it was originally intended for, and it was also spread into the areas on the west and northwest sides. So it was beyond that, but there was a NOMO mix that was part of the original plan set that was approved in the order and amended order of conditions.
Okay. I also have a photo here. So I took photos, but this photo was from Mitch's. Oh, there we go. site visit
Mhm.
last year that just shows, this is before they put up the fence. They have a fence there now. But it shows the aggressive knotweed sprouts coming up through the grassed area that they maintain as a mowed grass. So that's that. But I'll go to my photos now. Let's see. Oh gosh. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. Okay. There we go. Okay. So right now I'm to the north of the office. Right there, that's the office. The southern buildings are just beyond the office, and the property extends to the left and the right, but this was a photo of the plants that are there, and they wrap around to the left, which is east. And where you see the stop sign, that's the far edge of the storage unit property. And then that's to the right. So the road slopes down, and you can see the retaining wall, and the rainwater garden is at the base of that retaining wall. And this is the depression of the rainwater garden. You can see little black outlets at the base of the retaining wall, kind of all the way around. There was a little bit of water in there. There's an outlet, and then there's one further down too. Here's the plants. A lot of them have lost their leaves, but not all. They looked alive, and I think that's the last outlet. And so that's kind of looking towards the woods. There's still a straw wattle there. And that's looking, I guess, south. The wetland is to the right of the photo. And that's down in the wetland. And so I walked the whole perimeter. So these photos will take you kind of along the edge. Those are more plantings.
Did we receive a survivorship report on the plantings? Like, was there? I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time finding the orders of conditions. Like, there's a special conditions PDF, and there's like multiple orders. I am not sure what's what with the.
In the folder for today's meeting, oh yeah, sorry, totally. Okay. So you just need to go in today's meeting and go to the 105 Newton, and then click the most recent permit. I think it was 2022. And then click order conditions, and then click COC. And
Yeah,
I put
yeah.
everything in there, so there's shortcuts to the amended order of conditions. Do you see that?
Yeah, so there's a folder called order of conditions.
Yeah, and then go in that, and then there should be a folder called COC.
Oh, all right. I was looking at the original orders.
Yeah, I know, because they amended the plan. The original plan was a different building
Okay.
shape, and there was some unforeseen, I think, underground stuff that they had to redesign the building. So, but I think these pictures clearly show kind of the limit of the disturbance that was on the plans. And as you can see, now there's the chain link fence that wasn't there in Mitch's photos, which also kind of honors that limit of disturbance in, a more permanent way. So their mowing doesn't go beyond the fence.
Wait, can you go back one? I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah, that was just me. I was like, what's that fence over there? There's like a fence in the woods. I don't know what that is. I think it probably has to do with the highway being right there. So this is kind of on the backside of the property looking south.
So that's the 25-foot buffer.
Yes, well, down there, so the 25 foot's like up here.
But does the project's also in the 200-foot riverfront under the local ordinance?
Yes,
Okay.
so yeah, that's like, this is where Mitch's photo was before that I just showed you guys with all the knotweed sprouts. That's this area.
Yeah, you can see it behind the fence.
Yeah, so, my understanding is it probably pops up like all summer long and as they keep mowing it.
So I'm sorry, in the folder, we have the special conditions, but where are the boilerplate?
Here, I'll go look for you.
Because usually
So
there's a
the
condition that,
boilerplate are part of the special conditions. So if you open the special conditions, and you scroll down like a page,
oh,
it will say special conditions, and there's only two. And then there's
Oh,
general
gotcha.
conditions, and those are the boilerplate.
okay, gotcha. Because usually there's something that states like any deviation from the plans as approved will be, described and certified by the engineer or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm driving at. And it sounds like there were some changes. For example, the stormwater basin is not designed as permitted or not constructed as designed. We do control
Kristen,
F.
there is a under number 71, upon completion of construction and final soil stabilization, the applicant shall submit the following to request a certificate of compliance. And letter B is a letter from a registered professional engineer certifying compliance of the property with this order of conditions and detailing any deviations that exist
That's
and their
exactly what I'm looking for.
potential effect on the project. The statement that the work is in substantial compliance with no detailing of the deviations shall not be accepted.
Right, thank you, Travis. That's exactly what I was looking for. So, I'm assuming that with this request for a COC, there is a certified statement from the project engineers, Berkshire Design, certifying that the stormwater management asset hasn't been constructed as originally designed, but that in your professional opinion, it will function as intended, given climate change and all of that.
That is correct.
And we have that in the folder, Jessica?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that is actually there, and it's called, yeah, it's the top one, the request, 105 Newton Street request for COC. And that's the letter with the form filled out, WPA Form 8A.
Mind if I share my screen really quick, just so that
Yes,
it doesn't look like there's anybody here from the public, but just for the record, sorry, my screen's slow to share. Boopity boop. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so Berkshire Design Group, this is dated October 14th, so just for the record, this is signed by Christopher Chamberlain, principal engineer, or what does PE stand for?
A professional engineer.
Professional engineer, thank you, sorry, principal of Berkshire Design. Just stating that essentially, the conservation seed mix was, subbed for, or the no-mow seed mix was subbed for the conservation seed mix. and that 2 of the 66 shrubs did not survive. However, that still meets the survivorship threshold. And based on the topography, the rain garden was constructed slightly smaller than was designed. As designed, the rain garden would store 774 cubic feet of water below the overflow elevation. As built, the rain garden stores approximately 650 cubic feet of water below the overflow elevation. While less than the design volume, the storage volume exceeds the 0.5-inch water quality volume associate with the impervious area discharging through the rain garden as required by the stormwater handbook. I'm wondering, Doug, if you can just talk to that point a little bit more, because I don't see personally as an ecologist how that really jives. And if you can just talk about the stormwater handbook and how, 100 cubic feet volume difference meets the thresholds that you're going for. Like, why was it designed for more and constructed for less?
It's a good question. And I'm not the engineer on the project, but I will do my best to explain it. Do you mind if I share
Not at all. I'll
my
stop.
screen?
Oh gosh, sorry, you're seeing stuff that you shouldn't be seeing on my screen. Where's my stop sharing? Oh, it's over here. Sorry. Too many screens.
This picture.
3 screens, too many.
Wonderful. Hold on here. Let's see which one here. So it is my understanding that so this I'm moving my mouse to show the portion of the site that drains down into this rain garden. So it's somewhat a limited portion of the site that drains into this rain garden.
There's more than one stormwater asset.
That's correct. Yeah. So there's an infiltration, subsurface infiltration chambers that the central part and the eastern part of the site drains to. And when the rain garden was constructed, when the rain garden was originally designed, it took into account the impervious area of these 3 buildings, as well as this horseshoe-shaped asphalt drive lane and the retaining wall to drain down through these 3 catch basins or drain manholes to drain down through the wall and then overflow into this outlet into this rain garden, and then ultimately to overflow just past the rain garden at the overflow elevation there. So the these 2 buildings on the side, however, are actually sheet flowing off and not draining. They are sheet flowing away from the asphalt. So they are just sheet flowing and landing onto a drip strip and then infiltrating into the site. They are not actually square footage wise contributing to the runoff that would land in this location. So although the rain garden is smaller, it still works for the actual area that actually drains to it. So
was that originally intended in the design, or was that something you didn't notice until after it was implemented?
It was designed to be oversized just for safekeeping. Like, it can't harm it to be bigger than it needs to be if there's room for but but to achieve the stormwater standards, it's my understanding that that the smaller rain garden still works. That slightly smaller size, 650 cubic feet of volume space versus 774, still works for the actual area that is draining into that rain garden. I think as I recall, there may have been iterations of building design and how the roofs would be pitched, and so they were ultimately pitched, and it was designed for them to drain into these drip strips shown on both sides of these buildings. But the original calculations were just it was a larger volume of impervious area that was calculated to put in the original rain garden, which just sort of extended out a little bit further than what is than what was actually built. So what was actually built does meet the area that actually drains to it. Does that make any sense? So it's oversized in the original design, and as it is built, it still meets the actual area that that runs off the central building, and this horseshoe-shaped area is what drains into these catch basins and then into this rain garden area. So it still meets the required volume capacity for this area.
Was this part of the amendment? I don't know if Jessica, I don't know if you can remind me which building got changed. Was it, I can't, it's so small, I can't see. Was it the big building in the back, or is it the building in the horseshoe there? One was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a 2-story building. And then
My
because of,
understanding is that, yes, this section is part of the change. I think that I could bring up the old plans, but I think that the layout was
so when they brought us the
substantially
amendment,
changed. What did you
was
say?
it, so when they brought us the amendment, was the rain garden changed then, or was it just during actual construction that it got changed?
Oh, you mean the difference in the depth?
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, I'm just wondering, yeah,
I think the
yeah.
difference in the depth was changed in construction.
okay.
Yeah, because this as-built is based on the approved plans, and those were approved when the amended
okay.
requests went in.
Sorry, I lost you guys for a minute. I don't know why my computer decided to do a mandatory update, so I'm logging in on my phone. But I guess, and it's still, it'll take like 15 minutes, but, I guess kind of like snowballing on what the other commissioners were saying, I guess my question is, was that a field change that was approved by Mass DEP and the Conservation Commission, or was that ever even brought to the issuing authorities?
It's our understanding that that this was done during construction. This wasn't something that we approved or that had sought permission for. And so we reviewed what was built to see if it needed to be, if we would recommend, hey, this doesn't meet the stormwater handbook and this is not going to fly for the Conservation Commission, you need to go out and enlarge that and build it per plan, or will it work in its current size? And so our engineer, Chris Chamberlain, had reviewed it in its current size. Does it still meet the volume requirements for the area that drains to it? And he found that it still does. I don't have those calculations in front of me, so I would have a harder time explaining.
I guess I'm just curious why you wouldn't have proposed that in the first place. If it were smaller and you would have less impacts to buffer zone and riverfront area under the ordinance. I mean, why wasn't that your first preferred alternative? If that was possible?
That's a good question. I do not know.
That was why I was asking about which building was the one, because one of them was supposed to be a two-story building, and I didn't know if that had different impacts on how much water would be coming off the buildings, how fast.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I could bring up the
I
original.
don't know if it matters. I don't know if it matters or not. I mean,
Okay, yeah,
I'm
it
not sure
was
if I'm.
it was like a different layout. I didn't study the original plans too much because they were amended.
Mhm.
But I did see like the general sketch, and there weren't, I think there was less buildings that were bigger, bigger surface
Mhm.
area.
Yeah, I can't actually speak to what was originally planned prior to the amended order of conditions request. I vaguely am familiar that the original building that was on site was a two or three story building that they had torn down in order to install. They were intending originally to install a two-story storage unit, but they found that it would have been that the subsurface conditions were not amenable to building a two-story building, and so they went back to the drawing board and revised those plans, and then submitted an amended order of conditions for the current layout that we're looking at here in the as-built plan.
Also, Kristen, you were asking about why it might be sized bigger when it would have more impact on the buffer zone. Just a reminder that the rain garden was built where part of the previous building was. So it was a disturbed area to begin with, I guess. So
It was a redevelopment.
yeah, they tore down a building, and part of the building was where the rain garden is now.
I'm just curious too, though, why it was sized originally if that wasn't what they needed.
Mhm.
Usually when you're looking at resource area impacts, you try to reduce them as much as possible. So why was it oversized? And then I don't know. I guess personally, I would like to see a more thorough explanation on why the stormwater management asset is designed larger than was actually implemented.
Maybe an explanation, maybe some calculations showing like how much it would have treated if it was built as planned, and comparing how much it treats as built as is.
Yeah, I don't really understand what, 0.5 inches per the stormwater handbook really means. It's not like in context for me. So I guess what I'm looking for is, it was designed and permitted a certain way. It was implemented smaller. Why are we supposed to understand that that's okay? Saying like, well, per the stormwater handbook, 0.5 inches, that doesn't mean anything to me. I need to have an explanation that means something to me.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to go back and discuss this with our engineer and get a more thorough explanation. I'd certainly be happy to do that.
And Kristen, just from a procedure perspective, I'm pretty sure the certificate of compliance is one of those things that we have to respond within a certain number of
Yeah.
days. And I don't think we can like continue it. So
Yeah.
I think we just have to vote to not issue it at this time and request more information. And then
Wait,
they would
is that true though? I feel
I
like
don't know. I feel like we've done that in the past. That's
I
what
know,
I'm
but
remembering.
professionally, totally outside this commission, I filed for a COC request like on behalf of the company that I work for in August. And I don't think that they've done anything
Mm.
about it yet. They're still opining. So that's a good question, Travis. I am not sure about the administrative stuff on that. So I defer to you because you're the expert on the administrative stuff.
Well,
You always know about that stuff. So yeah, so like, is there an expiration on a request for a COC? That's really Jessica, do you know?
No, I don't. Travis, do you mean like once the hearing or whatever this is called, once it starts, we need to respond within a certain amount of time? Like we
I-
can't continue.
Well, I thought it was one of those like once they submit it, sort of like, with
I feel like I
a
heard that too.
with
Yeah.
an NOI or whatever, where you have to respond within a certain number of days,
Right,
or
okay.
continue it. But I'm
But,
gonna
but is it
look.
one of those things that if they ask for a continuance, we could do it, or kind of
Oh,
thing?
maybe that's it. Yeah.
Or is that not, I mean, I know that's with the other one, but
It's
we don't-
ultimately, yeah, it's a good question. I wish I could answer the like administrative rules regarding the like how much time is required. I think it's 21 days for a response for the original, submission of a notice of intent or an RDA.
Yeah.
And I don't know for this. I mean, I can say that Chris is a licensed engineer. He reviewed the as-built plans, reviewed the storm design calculations, and then added that to this narrative for the certificate of compliance to describe it's it's a change certainly from what was originally approved from the designs, but it still works and meets the requirements per the handbook. So from an engineering, perspective, he's putting his his license on the line to be able to verify that this still works. So um, it's like but I'm also happy if it is, and if if you guys would like a more thorough explanation of this, um, uh, I am happy to come back with that.
Well, I aired my opinion. My opinion does not mean the whole commission's opinion. So I'm happy to listen to other people's opinions. And I'm sorry, my computer is all messed up. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm just gonna stick to my phone, if that's okay. Is this Jessica, will this work if I'm on my phone? I don't know if you can see me. I have like a weird
Yeah,
view.
we can,
No,
we
we
can
can
see you and hear you well.
Okay. So-
Kristen, I can add, I just looked on the handbook, the MAC handbook, and it says after the site inspection and within 21 days of receiving a request for certificate of compliance, the commission must determine whether the work has been completed in accordance with the order and act. Mass DEP Form 8B is used to issue a complete, partial, or invalid certificate of compliance.
So we
And-
can continuance allowed.
Yeah, and the next meeting's canceled, so we wouldn't be hearing them again until the end of November.
Gosh, that means I should talk to Gil about that one.
which is probably after their the condition expires, right? So
Yeah, I think we are close to that
I mean,
date.
So
if we
I
skip
just
our
have
next meeting,
I have a
Yes,
question, like
please go
if
ahead.
if the certificate of compliance is determining whether they complied with the order of conditions, and condition 71 talks about the as-built letter having the engineer, sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
yeah,
But everything that is in the letter that we received, wouldn't that mean that they're like, isn't that complying with the order of conditions? So
that's what I was wondering, that they did do what our conditions had said they had to do if this arose.
yeah,
know.
because it's like what the engineer is calling, not a substantial deviation, and it still complies with the stormwater handbook. I'm just wondering if that's like, I don't know if that means they are still complying with the order of conditions.
Yeah, I guess that was, you nailed it. That was my question. I guess I'm confused by the applicant's response on that. Personally, I don't really know what their answer means. So,
So it's my understanding that like the stormwater guidelines that has a certain amount for water quality volume. So for an amount of water that's getting filtered through, in this case, like through, through vegetation, so like biofiltration, that the storage volume needs to meet or exceed a half inch of water quality volume within an area associated with the area that's being discharged. So the area that's being discharged would amount to like it's still that amount of water still fits within the 650 cubic feet of storage within the existing rain garden that is there. So originally it was designed at 774 feet, but at 660 feet, 650 cubic feet of storage, it still meets that requirement of this area. Draining a half inch of water would still be able to be captured in this location.
I'm sorry, a half inch of water in like 24 hours, or a half inch of water in like what half inch of, like what is the parameter on that? I just don't understand what half inch means.
It's a good question, and I can't describe it in further detail, I'm sorry to say.
So I guess, yeah, that's just basically my question. I would like a little bit more clarity on, is this stormwater asset designed to handle, a 50-year rainfall event, 100-year rainfall event, 2-year rainfall event? I don't really know what half inch means. So I guess that's just my only question, but I'm just one commissioner. So that's just my question.
That's a fair question, and I'm sorry to say I can't elaborate further on the engineering behind it.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, Doug.
That's all right.
I'm not an engineer, so I'm asking, probably pretty basic questions. I guess, sorry, I'm like really dealing with these computer issues, but do other commissioners have questions at this time, or do we feel comfortable voting right now, or do we want more information? What do you guys all think?
What was there an actual planting list? And I know a lot of times that's not ready yet when they come and we approve it with the stipulation that will be sent to the agent for approval before anything's done. And I just wondered if we had a list and if it was approved, and does anybody know what's in this no-mow mix? And why is it called no-mow mix when they're mowing it?
Yeah, do we have a seed?
I don't know, it's a stupid question, but
No,
he
I
kept saying it was no-mow mix, but then they kept talking about mowing it, and I'm like,
was thinking the same thing. Oh God. Yeah, yeah. Do we have a seed list, Doug? Of like what the species are, the scientific names?
There is, and I don't have it on the computer that I am currently using for this meeting. It was on a planting plan that was submitted as part of the order of conditions and then the amended order of conditions. So there is a herbaceous plant list and a shrub list, tree list, as well as the seeding list that was there. A no-mow mix is essentially 5 different types of fescue. And like red fescue, for example, Festuca rubra, which is native to the county, and but it's a broader mix, and so it is a low growing, sod forming fescue mix that can be left unmowed for a much like greater infrequency than a typical lawn, but you can mow it, and then it still functions. It still works like typical northeastern sod and lawn mixes have a mix of fescue in there. It's a cool season bunch grass, essentially, like a sod forming bunch grass. And so the mix is comprised mostly of that. It works best in the northern parts of the country, in the Northeast and in the mid-north, northeast or like northern Midwest, and probably would work great out in the Northwest as well. It is, but it is, yes, it was on the planting plan for the project,
So the commission already approved it, is what you're saying?
which, yes, the commission had reviewed that and approved it.
Okay, thank you. That was helpful.
My computer is back on. I will log off my phone and get back on my computer. I'm so sorry about this complication. Especially while Liz isn't here. So while I log back on, do the other commissioners have any other questions while I get off my phone and get on my computer?
Yeah, I guess that's me. I'm the other commissioners. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, I'll wait till Kristen's back on her computer before doing anything.
Really sorry about that. I don't know why my computer decided to reboot in the middle of a Concom meeting. Company updates, I guess. Sorry about that. So I don't know, are commissioners ready to make a motion, or do we want more information? Personally, I would personally like more information, but you know, that's just my opinion. So what do the rest of the commissioners think?
I guess I personally feel like, I don't know, with the letter from the engineer, it seems like I personally wish there was more information, but I also feel like maybe there isn't enough information missing for me to not vote to issue the the certificate of compliance.
And just to confirm, there's only 3 of us here. It's you, me,
Yeah.
and Erica. Okay, so that we need a quorum. So Erica, how do you feel? Because I could be swayed. I honestly, I don't want to create waves and I don't want to extend business. So I could be swayed, but like that, you know my position. So what do you think, Erica?
Well, I guess I kind of agree with agree with both of you. I mean, I would like just a little more information, but that's probably partly because I just don't always understand it. But I also feel like they've met the conditions by providing the letter from the licensed engineer. So I
And in the handbook, it basically says we have to confirm that it was built. I don't have the language right in front of me right now, but you know, with the certificate of compliance, we're saying that it was they've met all the requirements and it was, you know, largely built as planned or whatever.
Like substantial
I'd have to look up the
conformance to the
language.
plans, something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
language
something like that. Yeah. That's why I was
Yeah.
trying to find the order plate is usually where that states, it's not in the special conditions, it's usually in the general conditions.
And Kristen, I think when we vote on this, our the city's ordinance says that we need 3 votes to issue an order of conditions, I think. So I believe any other vote, we only need a majority.
Oh, you
but I'm
mean the
not-
certificate of compliance
Oh.
or?
No, I think in the city's ordinance for the Conservation Commission, I think it says we need 3 votes to issue an order of conditions. Specifically, but I think any other vote only requires a majority. So
I could nay it, not that I've nayed anything ever, but I could nay it and
I-
still pass,
I
is what you're
think-
saying. Okay, all right. No, I'm honestly on the fence. I know I'm always like, I'm such a, you know, needler. I'm always
Well, I have a question. What, if you get the other information, what does it change anything or, um, I mean,
I feel like it would instill confidence personally in me personally that this stormwater management asset is being functional. And so one of the comments that DEP Western Region always writes as of maybe 5 years ago is that, whenever they review an NOI application that, stormwater management basins or stormwater management assets should have a maintenance log, and that maintenance log can be viewable by any issuing authority or regulatory agency upon request at any time in the future, and it should be maintained in perpetuity. Because the reason they started saying that is because they're like often neglected, they get sedimented, they don't function, and then there's just mismanaged stormwater everywhere, and this is undersized. So I just would like to have some confidence that it is sized appropriately, and that statement from the engineer, while it does go a long way, I trust engineers and I trust that their stamp is their reputation, but I don't understand the explanation. I don't know what 0.5 inches means. So just me personally, I would just like to have more information on what that means. So as commissioner signing off saying yay, I know that this is gonna function in perpetuity.
are there certain conditions that are in perpetuity for this, we have some in our boilerplate, they're just in our boilerplate?
Yeah, I'll bring that
Um,
up.
I mean, do we have any
There
recourse
usually
as
is.
far as, even if we issued it and then found there was a problem, do we have any recourse to go back? As far as like, if it's not functioning, if they're not cleaning it, or,
That's a good question.
I think there's always something about stormwater system maintenance.
Yeah, and as it currently stands, the site and the rain garden and the site is totally stabilized. And there's not a buildup of sediment that is in this rain garden area or within these stone drip strips along the side of the building or within the infiltration, the underground infiltration chambers. And so it's currently the site is working as designed, although the caveat of this was slightly smaller than what was originally approved by the commission to be constructed in the original plans. But it still works. It still functions to grab the amount of water that is running off. And I think that the ½ inch is related to just the first flush, which is typically what would include all the sediment that would be within the initial runoff. And so not for a 50-year or 100-year storm.
What
That
about
would
like,
be-
TSS removal or like any other of the standards that we would normally look at for stormwater management asset?
I don't know how it is meeting those, so I can't speak to those specifically.
We do have a SWIP on file, Kristen.
I don't think a SWIP would really, like, that's for just construction.
Oh, okay. And then we also have there was, sorry, I'm looking right now.
what, there's the rain garden, and then you were saying, is there a berm there or something where it's elevated so that water doesn't go past that, or
Well, the rain garden itself is depressed.
is depressed and then, okay,
And then
it
there's
goes,
like
okay.
a very large stretch of lawn before the woods.
So I
And
remember, I
you-
remember there was a lot of discussion about, because the stream does go down like behind that. So I remember there was a lot of discussion about making sure that runoff didn't, get into the stream without
Yeah, so you're in
being
Riverfront,
claimed.
right?
Yeah.
This area, I believe, is within Riverfront, yes.
Um,
And so the overflow for this area is the 90.5 foot elevation line that's here. So the base of this is at 189.5, and then it extends out around this 195, 190.5 is the overflow for this rain garden.
I don't know. Personally, I don't know why it's so hard to just get a written explanation as to why this was designed larger than was constructed. There has to be a reason.
I think,
but that
I
was,
mean, I think
that
we
was kind of
can-
one of my,
sorry, I was just gonna say, I think we can do that. I think we would just have to not issue a certificate of compliance at this time with a written explanation for what we need to see in order to do it. And then I think they have to apply. So we went through this with someone else and they had to like reapply, but they just submitted the same form again that they had already filled out with the additional documentation, I think. And I don't think, I mean, with their order of conditions expiring,
On the 22nd.
I mean, isn't it fine? Can't we still do a certificate of compliance after that expires? We just can't do.
Wait a
If they
second.
decide to us for an
Let's,
extension, we couldn't do an extension after it expires.
Right.
but there were two COVID tolling extensions. So this was originally issued in 2022,
Yes.
then it's still valid, right? 23, 24, 25, 26, it should
I
be
think
valid for.
I think it was issued after the last COVID one because it hadn't been all the other dates had been updated except for this one.
Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Because there was the second tolling extension, which was another 2 years.
But either way, we've definitely done COCs for expired ones.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause I think
that's true, that's true,
we're
yeah.
just saying it was done within that time frame, like that was
Right.
complete.
Well, I don't know if any commissioners are ready to motion or continue or request the applicant's continuance. If I'm not the only one who wants to see more information, you know, I feel like we've spent an hour on this and that's probably way longer than we had anticipated. So, I feel like we should move along to the next item on the agenda. As I said,
The only thing
go
I
ahead.
would add is that I think when we did this before, we said that it wasn't something that we could continue. And so we are required to respond within 21 days, either issuing the certificate of compliance or denying the certificate of compliance within those 21 days.
We don't have a bylaw fee for a request for a COC, do we?
There's no fee.
Okay. Gosh, I don't know, I just feel like that's never happened to me on a professional capacity. And maybe that was the mistake of all those other commissioners. So I guess, Travis, I'm gonna look to you about the administrative procedure for this, because I guess,
I guess, I would
I
say
guess-
I'll make a motion to deny the certificate of compliance at this time and request more information on the stormwater as it applies to the rain garden. Yeah, I think I'm ending my sentence there.
We have a
Yeah,
motion.
I'll second that. Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion before I take a roll call?
The only thing I'd add is in the handbook, it does say we have to give them a written explanation for why. So we'll just have to send them a letter, I guess.
Okay.
Would-
With what we're requesting, I guess.
Would email be sufficient, or does it have to be like,
I don't mind. I'll do both. I'll
Okay.
email the attachment and then mail it for the record.
I feel like personally, the issues that were brought up by the applicant was the planting, which I think as Erica kind of ironed out, like that was already in the order of conditions and was approved by the commission that native plants would be used. Two of the installed woody plantings failed, but that's still meeting the threshold. It's really, in my opinion, it's the stormwater, which is kind of a big deal, that was altered from the design, and I just would like to have, personally, I would like to have a more descriptive explanation on why that was implemented smaller than designed, because usually like it's, the other way around. So that's my summary. All right, so we have a motion and a second. That was our discussion. Any other discussion? I don't mean to cut anybody off.
Nope.
All right, so we'll do roll call, starting with you, Erica.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Sorry, Doug. I know you were looking forward to closing this out and we took a whole hour, but we'll get this done next time, I'm sure.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll certainly get more information, have a much more thorough explanation of the stormwater design and how it is currently, meeting the requirements in its current size.
We appreciate it. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks.
Of course. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, I lost my agenda. I'm all mixed up because my stupid computer. All right, let's see. Doopity-doo.
Kristen, can I just, before you continue on,
Yeah.
I know we have a couple of people here in person, and I don't know if we have anyone else online too. So I don't know if there are things on the agenda that are relevant to people who are attending our meeting either in person or online. Maybe we could move that to the top, or maybe that's next anyway. I'm not sure.
The next item is Miller's Meadow, and Athena is here online tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay waiting if it's not gonna take too long. If you want to go ahead and use him.
The other item is 30 Adams Road, and we have two guests in person tonight. And I think this should be quick.
No
But
worries, go ahead.
So yeah, Kristen, do you want to introduce the topic
Sure.
or?
So under old business, so we'll come back to new business, Athena, which is the Miller's Meadow. And we'll go next to old business, and we'll start with 30 Adams Road. Jeremiah Stowe is in attendance to update the commission on the progress of moving stored materials from the buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetlands and bank.
Okay, I'll
do-
just do a quick intro because I went out there on the 21st, and this is just, I think, our second or third update since we first started looking at the property. And I took photos, and things are moving along swimmingly. There are definitely like we had talked about the compost piles in the woods, just leaving those and letting those naturalize. And the logs are have been totally moved outside of the riverfront area to the farther side of the property. And the wood chip pile that was kind of within the work zone has been totally reduced and basically like flattened. But Jeremiah's here, and also, I'm sorry, could you remind me of your name? Cleaver? Kleberg, right. Brian Kleberg is here. He is the new owner of the property, and he's here to introduce himself and kind of just get on the same page with everybody. But he was also there when I went out on the 21st, and we talked about a few other things. So anyway, that's my introduction, and I can bring up the photos too. And unless there's,
If you guys could tap the button on there so it turns green so the people online can hear you too. There you go.
okay, so let me just, let's see. Okay, so this photo was where the logs were. Logs are gone.
Mhm.
There's the spot. These porta potties we had talked about in the past, and they're for sale. And so they plan to have those permanently gone when they're sold. There is some trash debris that we talked about. Well, the commission, we didn't talk about it, but we talked about it on the 21st when I was out there. The possibility of a garbage company coming to pick it, a dumpster to, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
We discussed getting a dumpster brought in and just removing that pile that you see in the picture.
And this was where the other wood chip pile was, so it's basically flattened. So one of the things we did talk about as a commission when we last spoke about it was when it did get to this point, kind of what the next steps would be for stabilization. And we left that as a like, we'll discuss that later. And so we can broach that topic tonight, but otherwise, yeah, it's just everything. I mean, it's looking way better. And see there, that's in the distance, and that's what we talked about naturalizing because of the disturbance it would cause if we were to move it. So that's the update. Do any of the commission members have questions?
When do you plan on renting a dumpster?
There's no like date set, but we could do it like reasonably soon. I think before the winter would be possible.
Would we as a commission be willing to like implement, I don't know, there's an enforcement order on this, right?
No, this was just like the state saw it.
Oh, that's
and
right, Mark Stinson.
Yeah,
Mm.
they've just been super cooperative, and it was never
Yeah, so there's no official enforcement. So maybe we could just like throw out a date and not make it official, but be like, hey, by, Thanksgiving, you'll have this addressed or something like that.
Is that doable?
Yeah, I think so. I know we actually slow down a little bit with my business in the winter, but one of my guys is going out with neck surgery next week, so time might be an issue, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I'm in the same business. I'm in the same position. We slow down as well in the winter, so our time does open up after Thanksgiving. I know, Kristen, you're asking around then for the finish date.
I think it'd be better to get that
Mhm.
stuff out before the ground freezes.
That's what I
And
was
I
thinking.
think that a lot of the dumpsters, they're just like a flat fee. It doesn't matter how long you have it. It's like $500. You could have it for 1 day or 5 months. It's the same price. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we can certainly try to get that. Thanksgiving's 4 weeks away roughly, so I'm gone until the 7th. I'm actually leaving tomorrow. So that gives me about 3 weeks. So I can try to line something up when I get back and start working on getting that stuff out of there.
Great.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate
Is
your
there any other
cooperative.
comments?
I don't know.
Sorry, Jessica.
Well, thanks for hanging in there.
No problem.
Appreciate how much work you've been doing out there. It looks really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
That's it. Yeah. All right.
Got the-
Thanks
got the
for
next step
staying
lined
with
up.
us. Sorry, we
Yeah.
should consider maybe like moving in-person business to the front of the agendas in the future or something. I don't know. We appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now we'll jump back up to new business. Is that cool, Jessica? For Miller's
great.
Meadow invasive species removal, are we ready for you, Athena?
I'm ready. My
All
day
right.
starts in 10 minutes, so.
All right, well, let me introduce you. So Miller's Meadow invasive species removal is next on our agenda under new business. This is the Miller's Meadow Restoration Project, and they would like to apply for the quote, Mass Wildlife Habitat Management Grant, unquote, from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife for invasive species removal. Athena Bradley is in attendance to discuss this effort and request authorization from the Conservation Commission to move ahead with this effort. So the floor is yours, Athena.
Okay, well, I'm assuming you all remember my approach for the CPC application, that actually rumor has it that we can apply for the CPC under a recreation
Yeah, I
grant.
was gonna ask if you heard the update on that yet.
I kind of heard it through the rumors, but I won't say who I've heard it from, but I did
Okay.
let Jessica know, and she should be the one that'll find out, and I don't know if she's heard yet.
I
Yeah.
have not heard yet.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I could give you a brief update on that if you'd like.
Okay,
Since I'm also on the CPC.
yeah,
Basically we had a very long discussion about it.
I'm
And
sorry.
no, it's okay. And the Community Preservation Coalition that provides technical assistance, they said essentially habitat restoration on open space land that was not acquired with CPA funds is not eligible. So
Right.
he said specifically like planting a meadow is not eligible. But some CPCs in other towns have made the argument that if there's conservation land without recreation on the parcel and you're doing something to add recreation to the parcel, that can count as
Okay,
creating recreation. And the example that they used was if you have like like the new conservation land that we just got, if you have this conservation land, there's no public access, no trails, and you're creating trails and you're creating recreation where there was only open space before, then that could qualify as creating recreation. So essentially I forget the wording of the motion in the meeting, but essentially it was habitat restoration, anything you want to do that's habitat restoration is not eligible. But if
Okay.
it's specifically creating recreation where there is none, that could be eligible.
okay. Well,
So that's the
I'll
update.
lead, yeah, thank you. I'll lead into what we're proposing for the Mass Wildlife, because we're actually proposing a fishing area, so that would be good for CPC as well, because we could increase that if that goes okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for having us back. And why, so this again, it follows up on the CPC grant, and we fleshed it out. We now have a 14-page application, which is going to be ready to go by Friday, hopefully by Thursday, because that's when it's due. So our proposal is for the upland on the hillside adjacent to Coleraine Street. We want to remove a lot of all the crown vetch that we can get to. So if I don't know if you've been up there, but it is like, it was overgrowing our trees and it was overgrowing the whole hillside. And then Peter Wackenackle and the youth conservation folks hand tore it out and mowed it and weed whacked it, and so it was down so that the trees could prosper, and that's all going well. But it will definitely be coming back, and so what we want to do is through this grant is to again hand remove it. And also the land stewardship would treat the crown vetch with the foliar herbicide spray. And so unfortunately, the grant has to be done by June 30th. So it would only be one application, but hopefully we'll get more funding so that we can continue that as an ongoing maintenance thing for the upland. And and then on the reforestation area where we've been planting all the trees, we will have about 700 trees and shrubs at least planted there by the end of this winter, early spring. And so what we want to do with that area is again hand removal of all the invasive species around the trees. And so that includes, again, the vetch, but also bittersweet and common mugwort that has been growing out of the mulch that we put all over the trees, and they're thriving in that. And Peter and his crew did remove a lot of that, but it's just hard to get to with this time limitation now. So that'll be the reforestation area and the hill, and then on the meadow area. And then on the riparian area, there's a lot of, or I'm sure you know, a total amount of Oriental bittersweet and all kinds of other invasives along the river. And so what we will do is we've scouted out a site, and I think Jessica has some photos of that, that's on near where you enter into the Miller's Meadow, and it's where it's behind where the trees have been planted, the young trees have been planted there. And so there are some paths that go down to the river. And so we decided that that would be be a pretty good vista once we could remove some of the, and all of the invasive species there. And that would be a hand removal thing. And he would do that, Peter and his crew would do that through the spring. And then create a fishing hole area. We'll put some sign promotion out and maybe a sign. And so it'll be a vista and a fishing hole area. And that, so it'll be about 25 feet, and that'll be a window cut to take out the vines from there so that people can walk down and fish off the ledge. And I'm sure there are already people that are fishing down there because there's quite a few trails around there. And so in addition, Peter got another grant through the Franklin Conservation District, will allow him to plant more trees. And the trees were donated from the Connecticut River Conservancy from Eversource. And so there's about close to 1,000 trees or something like that, I believe. And then he's got money from the Conservation District to pay him and his crew to do the labor for planting that. And that's pretty much it. It will keep us all busy by the spring. Again, the money has to be spent by the end of spring, so the project will be concluded by then. And hopefully we'll have continuing funding either through CPC or some other folks to keep the management going. And I know I sent you all a letter, and we will do, if we get awarded the funds, I understand I'll probably have to do a herbicide management plan. So we'll be ready to do that, and also talk about the hand removal. And then anything else that you all need from us. And then from you guys, if you approve our project, are going ahead with submitting the grant, I would draft a letter, because I would need a signed letter from either the chair or Jessica. I don't think it probably matters. By Thursday, hopefully.
Okay.
You
I can
need
do
the
that
signed
tomorrow.
letter by Thursday?
Yeah, or early
Okay.
Friday morning. And I can draft the letter for Jessica to review and get it to whoever needs to be signed, or I can take it to whoever needs to sign it. Or we can accept a PDF too. I do that all the time for grant contracts these days.
Yep. Wow, you have a lot going on. Thanks for the update. And I don't know, do we have any discussion on this?
It's been a great team effort. I started the grant and based on a lot of the CPC work that we all did, and then we put it in a Google folder. So it's got some good input from the whole team, including Eric and Jessica.
I'm curious about your work schedule to like use the money allocated from the grant and achieve your goals by the deadline. What did you say? It's June 2026?
June 30th. Yeah, no, we actually Chris Politan had submitted a proposal to us to do a 3-year herbicide management program, but we cut that back. So he's only going to be able to do one herbicide removal spraying, and that he said he would conclude it by the end of June. So he's pretty good at that, and so that's what he would do. And that's a small area. And then Peter's got a pretty good crew, and he's also got other laborers who work with him because they're the ones who have organized all the planting, and we can probably get volunteers as well. Peter's got a good crew of volunteers that have been helping out. So I don't doubt, I mean, I do a lot of project implementation. I have confidence that we can pull it off to do the invasive removals on the areas that I said.
And sorry, did you say that there is going to be herbicide, or you are planning herbicide use or not?
Yes, we are just on the vetch on the hillside area.
Okay.
And I just got his revised proposal, so I did not send that out, but it is described in our letter. And that's not a very, it's just, it's like an acre, I believe. Most of our areas for the management are just over an acre, all 3 of them. And that would also be combined with hand removal as well from Peter and his crew.
Okay, I guess the reason I was asking is because I went back and I looked at the RDA that we approved for work on this parcel before, and the description that it had was the project proposes to establish 1.65 acres of forest and meadow on the slope adjacent to Coleraine Street. An educational kiosk or sign will be installed, and the whole will be backfilled. Oriental bittersweet will be removed along the Green River through cuttings with no herbicide being used. So
yeah, and that's what we've done with the MVP project.
yeah, so I guess I was just thinking if I was just looking at the map too, and all the way up to the street is about 260 feet from the river. So, some of, I don't know exactly where the riverfront area is, but if herbicide was being used in the riverfront area, that might need another application for the Wetlands Protection Act.
Yeah, no, it's only going to be up on the upland area right along Coleraine Street.
Mm-hmm.
And where the trees are planted. So that's above the meadow, and it's above where the silage is now, because that's where the meadow's going to go, and it's all along the hillside is where we're proposing. Because it's really tough to keep all of the vetch out of there. So if we could do at least one herbicide spraying of the vetch, and then along with hand removal through the spring, we hope that would get a better dent in it.
So even if it's technically an upland, if it's within 200 feet of the Green River, it's a resource area.
Okay. I don't know. It seems to me like it would be 200 feet from. I don't know if Jessica has.
If it's more than 200 feet, it's not our jurisdiction, but or unless it's bordering land subject to flood, which it looks like you also have. But,
well, it is subject to flood, not, I don't think on the hillside itself, but.
Well, it would be an elevation that we would need to look at, or a FEMA floodplain map. And that's an elevation that we would need to, be jurisdictional for.
My understanding was that it would require another application, but that this meeting, like this time, was just to kind of get the green light to say, yeah, go ahead and get the grant, and then they would file the application to be able to like use the grant money.
And I also think that like, if we had to do any filings, just globally, like maybe asking for, you know, administrative notice before chemical treatments and then annual reports summarizing success and failures, that kind of thing. Because there is an EPA permit associated with herbicide applications, so we would want to like, you know, just receive some kind of notice, but that wouldn't be a huge hurdle, Athena. It's just, you know.
Yeah, no, and I trust Chris because he does this. He's into sustainability and does not use herbicides, you know, just willy-nilly. So I think he's really good at that. But yeah, if we could go ahead and submit the grant, we could, if we can't do the herbicides, we just do it all with hand management. So we can just talk to the Mass Wildlife folks, and I don't see that as a problem.
I'm not personally opposed to herbicide treatments. I just think that there's, you know, some more protocols to follow.
Sure.
Personally, that's just my personal opinion. But I don't know. Do any other commissioners have any discussion on that?
No, and I was just pointing that out just as like just a note, like, you know, if this does go through and there are pesticides or herbicides, we might, you know, it might need to be filed
Yeah.
again, but I don't think that, I'm not saying that should hold up this application or anything for the grant. So I'm actually going to motion to issue a letter of support for the grant as requested.
A second.
Right, we have a motion and a second. I'll do a quick roll call. Erica,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
I am also an aye.
Excellent. So I should put the protocols to be followed and come back to visit you guys if we're awarded funding. I should put that in the letter.
Put what in the letter? The protocols?
Yeah, that we would come back to you and discuss protocols for the herbicide and also look at the FEMA map and make sure that if we're not under 200 feet, so just discuss that to see if there are concerns.
If it's in resource area, you'll just have to submit another, like an application. So if it's an RDA or an NOI, we'll have to figure out which one, but
Okay,
because I think this is considered a different project than the MVP, right? So it would need a new application.
Yeah, and that one was
Okay,
an
okay.
ODA. And
But I don't,
And
also just pointing out that we were the applicant, the Conservation Commission
Yeah.
was the applicant on the last one. So
okay,
like we applied to ourselves to do it.
okay. So
It'll
but
be
I
a
don't, I think,
meeting
so it'd be
too.
it
Great
would be us
project.
applying again.
Since
Okay.
we're the ones managing the property.
But yes, Athena,
Yeah.
good
Yes.
desktop work to look at that, whether you're in bordering land subject to flood, i.e. the 100-year floodplain
Okay,
or 200-foot riverfront. And yeah, that's all good stuff.
Okay.
Not to volunteer someone else too much, but I think Jessica could probably help out with that a bit
You
too.
love
No,
our GIS.
Jessica-
I'll
was
help. I don't know
wonderful.
wait, what am I helping with?
Just determining like whether they want to do anything in a resource area that would.
Oh
need a
yeah,
fire.
no, I'm your girl. I just need to like have the GIS in front of me, and I'll get you
Yep.
all the information.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a whiz with that stuff.
No, yeah, I understand. It's wonderful to have her. Okay, Jessica, I will draft this up and could probably use some input into you as to how did you get the letter. So, are you in tomorrow?
Yes, 9 to 2 for the rest of the
You're
week.
awesome. Okay, I'll be
Okay.
in touch then.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm sorry we
My
were so
pleasure. I
slow.
always enjoy your guys' meetings. Be well, everybody.
Okay, you
Thanks.
too.
Have a good night. Bye, Athena.
Bye.
Okay, so next on our agenda, we just have old business. We already addressed 30 Adams Road, but we have the Community Preservation Act, CPA, application discussion. Commission to review the rough draft of the full application and discuss letters of support received. Do we have anybody to open that up?
Yeah,
I think-
I can do it.
yeah.
I'm really excited to report we have 5 letters of support already.
Oh, oh, good job.
Wow.
Yep. We have from Jonah Keene, the Open Space Task Force, the SGIC, from Eric, the Director of Land Planning, and from the Franklin Land Trust.
Mm.
Excellent. That's
Very good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for the Agricultural Commission. I think that'll like be really
Yeah,
key.
I think Elizabeth was going to follow up.
I think so.
You know,
Yeah,
I
that's-
just
that's-
want to point out, I want to make sure everyone has her correct email because she did update it and I tried to reply and I got a weird kickback. So does everyone have her updated address?
I
Oh.
did get that when you sent. By the way, don't say what her
I
email
won't
address
say
is.
it, but
Just
I
post it.
just want to make sure that, because I feel like communication might be breaking down. So everyone
I
make
did get that when you responded to
You
the
did,
email,
okay.
and I saw her
The
new
correct one,
address
okay.
and saved
Jessica,
it.
And
reach
then
out to me offline if you can't get her because I have her mobile number.
Oh, I have it too. I just
Okay.
because a kind of like a template was sent out and I just want to make sure, you know, she's receiving it because I know she was going to follow up with
Gotcha.
the ag guy. So, okay. So, let's see this.
Oh, yeah, then
which
I've
one
been
is-
working on the application.
I can share my screen. Let me just,
Okay,
Please.
yeah.
there we go.
I'm just gonna, can I just like use the ladies room really quick? I'll be so fast, so fast, so fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So it's up on the screen.
Let's wait for her to get back.
Okay.
It might, sometimes when you look at it in Google Drive, it cut like some of the text boxes you have to scroll down through, and I think you can't do that on, like, you might have to download it. And just I noticed that like after like when you sent the link out, I noticed some of the text boxes, there's like too much text and you can't see it all. But if you
Okay.
if you have it open in like Adobe Acrobat or whatever, you can scroll down in the text
Okay.
boxes. It's hard to write enough. You know, it's not
Yes.
too much to fit in those boxes.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. So that's better, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. No specific project.
I don't know why
details.
that one has different font. Oh, I think the font like gets smaller as you fill
Oh,
it.
it's like self-correcting.
Oh, it changes, yeah. Or it looks like it almost looks like it's bold in the number 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't make it
something.
bold.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just
Should I
just
when
a little
Kristen
bigger.
Kristen gets back, should I?
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, hi.
I was so fast. I
Um,
know. Sorry.
Should I, do you want me to read this out loud for the
I don't-
record?
I don't know if we have to read
Okay.
through everything out loud. I mean, I tried to send it early enough that if people wanted to review it before the meeting, they could look through it. But I know I didn't send it as early as I had hoped. So
Well, it's pretty much what we talked about, right? Just that we
Mhm.
wanted to try to build a bank account kind of thing. So that if we got some land,
Yeah,
we
in the
could purchase it.
conservation.
yeah, and that first one kind of describes like what it can be used for overall and how it gives us like we can, you know, have speed and flexibility to preserve open space land by
Right.
having the money on hand, and we would just need to vote to use it, and it doesn't require any other approvals at that point. And then there's that says there we could use it to do any of the following: purchase land for conservation, pay for title searches, legal fees, other costs to assist in the donation of land to the city to become conservation land, pay for all or part of the cost of conservation restrictions on private property to permanently conserve it, pay for all or part of the cost for agricultural preservation restrictions on private agricultural land to permanently protect it from development, and to rehabilitate any conservation land that is purchased with CPA funding in the future. So overall, that's what we could use it for.
Do we
Um,
want Emily to chime in, or has she already?
I
'Cause she-
haven't heard anything from her specifically in regards to this full application.
Since she, you know, is sort of like involved in grant writing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I
do
forgot she
we,
wasn't going to be here today.
yeah, do we need a vote on this tonight? I mean, this is all gravy to me,
Yeah.
so I don't know why anybody would be opposed to it, but do we need
I
anybody's?
think we do.
It's
Bec-
due November 17th. This has to
Okay.
be in by November 17th.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
next, we don't have a meeting
Mm.
until after that, but she did give her input last meeting when we talked about the pre-application, and she did say, you know, the things that it could be used for conservation restrictions. And I could go back through the meeting and send you, you know,
Sure.
like what she said, but
Yeah.
if that would help.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
it all sounds good and better to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
see
I guess the main
downside.
thing is like we know that it can be used for all these things and we know why it would be useful, but the hard part now is there's a limited amount of CPA funding. Why should the CPC use the funding for this instead of other projects that are up for funding this year? So it's really, this is like the competitive part where we have to like sell the
Mhm.
project
Mm.
and why it's important. So
Well, I mean, diversifying investments is important,
Yeah.
right? This is an investment.
yeah, and I will say one comment that I heard was, you know, right now the CPC, you know, when a project comes up, people have to do this whole application and describe what the project is, and the CPC gets to decide whether to recommend funding for that specific project or not. So the comment was, well, if we put money in this conservation fund, then the CPC doesn't have any say at that point in what it's used for, other than that it has to be used for one of these things, but the specific project they wouldn't get a say in. So they're it's kind of
Was
the
that-
CPC would be giving up some control over
Mm.
what
I
CPA
was
money is
just-
used for.
So was that a negative comment kind of thing?
Yes,
Or-
yeah, that was a
Okay,
negative.
okay. But on the other hand, I mean, from our point of view is that you do have to, I mean, go through all this and wait for them to make a decision. And if we need the money right then, we don't have time to do that,
Yeah.
so. So that's our, you know, kind of our point of view is, you know, we don't wanna like do anything behind their backs, but sometimes we need money right away and, you know.
Yeah. I will
Yeah.
say if this is super competitive, maybe for number 3, for who will benefit from this project and how/why, we should, yeah, harp on the climate resiliency. So there's a climate resiliency tool, which I can share a link for if that's relevant, but I think that like we should just like beef that up a lot, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of funding available for climate resiliency and particularly for any you know, permanent protected land that's like within jurisdictional resource areas or riverfront or floodplain, you know,
Mhm.
that's not going to be otherwise subject to development or encroachment, I would think would be great. Or what if there were any floodplain restoration opportunities going forward for problems in downstream watersheds or whatever, that kind of thing.
Mhm. this is where I wish Athena was writing this, because I'm sure she would do it very well. Yeah, I don't know if you want to scroll through just a little bit
Okay.
more. How is it creative? So yeah, in this one, number 4, you know, I said like this is the first time that this would be done in Greenfield, and why it would be great because it would give us the ability to get the money quickly. And then I did point out that other municipalities are doing this, putting CPA money into conservation funds, and showed that in Northampton, they've done that in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2020,
Yeah, so it's our turn.
2023
Right.
for $627,000. So
It's been like 15 years of them doing it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and we're
not-
also on the
it's not like
Connecticut River.
a weird, unique thing that's never been done before, you know, like this is a
Yeah.
routine thing. And that we would like it to be a routine thing in Greenfield.
Well, I think that this, like this concept of what, like how we want to use it, it requires like vision, right?
Mhm.
And everything that they have been looking at up until this point, it's almost like 2-dimensional and this is 3-dimensional. Like there's like, we need to be able to grow this account to have an impact.
Mhm.
And, you know, if we don't get, you know, it's just, there's like a sense of urgency just to grow it. You know, it's like hurry up and wait. Like we have to
Hmm.
have something to make a dent whatsoever to have an impact. And, you know, if they're just looking for that kind of immediate, like gratification of seeing, like then nothing's ever going to happen for open space.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
another thing I'm pointing out is like we haven't funded any open space projects yet through CPC, and the CPA law was originally intended to give money to towns so they could buy open space. Like that was the whole point of it in the beginning.
Right.
And we haven't in Greenfield, we haven't used any money to preserve open space. It's all been recreation and historic housing, which are all great things too, but it hasn't
Right.
met the open space. So in number 5 there, I put in quotes open space priorities from the CPC plan, and then how this would like address those different priorities.
That's good.
Mhm.
Speaking the language.
Yep.
And number 6,
Yeah.
that's when we'll need to fill out some more with like letters of support. I figured like at the very end, however many letters of support we have, like fill that out in number 6. Number 7, I think is kind of important because a lot of times in the CPC meetings, it's like, well, you know, we don't have enough money to go around. What if we just gave you a little bit of money? Like, what would that do? And, you know, I just wanted to point out that even if the full request of $50,000, which we could lower if we think that's too ambitious, even if that is not, you know, if they don't give us $50,000, there's still things that could be done now, you know, with a smaller amount of money, and also, you know, it once the money's in there, well, you know, it stays there until we spend it. So
Is it in
Yeah.
escrow or is it just, does it accumulate any money? If it doesn't
that's a
get
good question.
spent?
It's held by the treasurer, the city treasurer, and it might be one of those where there's like a 0.01%
Oh, great, yeah,
that it gains
yeah,
on it.
it's negligible.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
think. But also this is another thing that like when I first became the chair of the Conservation Commission and I talked to like the city finance people, and they didn't even believe me that we had such a fund because
Yeah,
it's not allowed for commissions and city boards to have like a revolving fund. And I was like, well, it's generally not allowed, but It
Yeah,
is
it
through
is.
state law, the Conservation Fund, and it was established in Greenfield in 1971 or whatever. So, so that's another thing that we might have to, there might be a little friction there trying to actually use it if they don't even understand what we have and how it works. Just to point that out.
Mm.
But that's a reason to have money and to use it so that, like city finance people know, like get used to that happening and like know how it works.
When are the decisions made by?
Um, April or May,
Oh, okay.
something like that. And then, yeah, like beginning of the fiscal year, like in July, that's when the money would be
Okay.
transferred.
Yeah, state agency fiscal year end is June 30th, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you want to scroll down. I think
there's-
next
sorry.
is funding. Oh, budget. I yeah, it's I can't really like fill out what an exact budget would be since we don't know what the project would be. But Emily did send me some like budget information. I don't know if you uploaded
I did.
that.
I have
Okay.
it.
I think that's pretty much all that's left here, other than like maintenance. If you scroll down a little bit, there's like a maintenance section, and I just said, it depends on what type of project it would be.
Oh, here we
If
go.
conservation land was acquired, then the Conservation Commission would be doing ongoing maintenance, and
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to
It
be,
just
you
depends.
can't like be specific about any of this
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Okay.
yeah, if you want to take a look at the budget real quick, it was just a quick estimate Emily put together with her colleagues of how I kind of like reworked it a little bit to make it a little more readable for the CPC. But basically at the top, it's just like, how would land values be determined? It depends on the type of land or what the project would be. And then there's this big section about agricultural preservation restrictions and how that works and how, they need a 5% local match in a right to, if a right to farm bylaw has been established, and it has in Greenfield. So this conservation fund could be used for that 5% local match. And I also added this quote from the Community Preservation Coalition's website. The Community Preservation Coalition is basically like MACC for us. And it says, you can see right there, one of the challenges to using CPA funds for APR projects is the APR program has a year-round rolling application procedure. Thus, an APR project may be approved and ready for closing at any time during the year. Since all CPA projects must be approved by a community's legislative body, there could be timing issues that might frustrate the use of CPA funds for the APR local match. To avoid timing issues, some community preservation committees recommend that the legislative body transfer CPA funds to the municipality's conservation fund ahead of time. So that's what we want to do. So I
Yeah.
put that in there
Right.
as a quote to show like,
It's even on the website.
that's why it's a good
Right,
reason
right.
to do it. That's why it's a good reason. Yeah. And then at the bottom, the next page is just some estimated costs associated with conservation land projects, just to kind of give an estimate for, obviously we don't know like if a parcel was going to be purchased. It depends how big it is, where it is. So we don't really know like what, how much the purchase price would be or whatever, but these are all the other like fees and appraisals and everything that would be associated with it.
So in the budget section of the full application, you wrote.
I
like,
wrote see attached. Yeah, see the attachment. Yeah. So that's basically what I have. I guess the main question that I have is, I know we're almost at 8:30 here tonight. The total amount of money that the CPC has this year is like just over $200,000. And I had originally put 50,000 on here just because it would be nice to like you know, get a nice little bump there in the conservation fund. And since there aren't any other open space projects, however, I was gonna see if I could find it really quick. There is a specific amount that, okay, so the CPC has $262,000 this year for projects. We haven't gotten all the applications in yet, so I don't know what the total amount of all the applications are gonna be, but I bet it's gonna be like 400,000 or something. So it's gonna be pretty competitive. But $27,600 of that funding has to be used for either open space projects or recreation projects. So a more conservative approach might be requesting $27,600 and just say all of that open space recreation money, give that to us, because that money, it doesn't say recreation
It
on the
doesn't,
website, but
yeah,
it is for
okay.
recreation too. You know, recreation projects have gotten to date, oh my gosh, I don't know, 400,000 or 300,000, something like that. But there hasn't been a single open space project funded yet. So I think it's reasonable to say, and I don't think there were that many, all of the pre-applications. So we have to submit a pre-application and then a full application. All of the pre-applications are online right now, and I'm trying to think which ones were moving forward. And I don't think there were very many recreation projects this year that were moving forward. So it might be a fairly easy ask for, well, I guess the only recreation one moving forward that I know of is the Miller's Meadow playground. That one didn't go forward. That one didn't go forward. Beacon Field. I think maybe Beacon Field cornhole boards went forward, but so it's Beacon Field cornhole boards, the Miller's Meadow, whatever they want to do for recreation there, and then us. That $27,600 has to go towards one of those, or it doesn't have to go towards any of them, and it could be saved until the next year, but it probably will go to one of those or split in some way. So anyway, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Do you think asking for more is gonna hurt us, or
A little bit.
you do? Okay, because I mean, because you did write in there that we'll take whatever you give us, you know, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So you
I think that
50.
might be like Kristen with the rain garden earlier. Like, well, if you only needed $27,000, why are we asking for 50?
Why did you ask for-
You know, yeah. So I don't know. So
Well, just, I mean, I just, you know, well, I mean, if you think it might hurt us, but I was gonna say, you know, if we ask for 50 and they just say, no, we'll give you 30, that's more than the 27. So, you know, we might get,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah, isn't that like negotiation 101?
I don't know. I mean, I
it
don't want,
is. But
I
well,
don't
the only
want
reason
us to lose out on something by asking too low, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, the main
but-
reason I was bringing it up is because last year, I think in the first 2 years, we did a lot of like, okay, well, if we fund this one half and we fund that one half, then we can like stretch it out at, in the CPC. And then last year it was basically like, well, let's go down the list of the ones that we want to fund fully and then see if we have any money left over after that. So they were prioritizing, at least last year, it was like, these are the ones we want to fund fully. And then if there's anything left, maybe we'll, put it towards one of the other projects. So that's sort of the reason I thought of that, because, right now we would be asking for, a fifth almost of the total CPC budget for the year. And there's quite a few applications, but not all of them are moving forward, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, but this is why I left it as 50,000 for right now, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to ask too little, but I think it would increase our odds if we did ask for less. So
And it's our first time. Northampton's been going after this for like
Yeah.
a decade.
Right.
So let's see how our first time goes. And if we can learn from lessons next year,
Yeah.
then
Well, and also, I guess I'll point out that, like on the Community Preservation Coalition's website, it has they have a web page specifically talking about like conflicts of interest and how having a member on, like on the CPC, you're required to have someone from the Conservation Commission, Planning Board, Historical Commission, yada, 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 and how it's not a conflict of interest for someone to be on both boards, even voting on a project from the board that they're from. So like, there's no conflict for me talking about and voting on this application from the Conservation Commission at CPC,
Good.
because in both cases, I'm doing it in the public interest and it's not, it's not going to benefit me financially or anything.
Right,
So
right.
it's not a conflict of interest. So I'll be there to, talk about all this and say like, well, we could at least do 27,600. So, I plan on doing that, but, yeah, just thought I'd point that out too. But it might be good at some point, when reviewing applications, a lot of times they'll have the applicant there to like ask questions. And so I don't know if like Elizabeth could come or Jessica or just someone other than me. So it's not just me on both committees talking about it, so.
Emily would be good too. I
Or
mean,
Emily, yeah.
yeah, she'd be great.
So just throwing that out there as a thought too. But I don't want to take up too much time, but I do this does need to get submitted by November 17th. So
And we don't have a meeting before then. So do we
Mhm.
have to do anything right now or?
I think, I mean, just to make it like the most official, I guess maybe we could just vote to say that we are going to submit the application after revisions that were discussed tonight, maybe. Or that Jessica will submit it for us. And so I'll make a couple changes, I guess. I can send an updated one with a couple changes with like adding more of the climate change stuff in. And then maybe Jessica, like right before sending it in, filling out the section of like how many letters of support we've got.
Okay.
And I don't know, just look through. I think there was another section like what date was this submitted? Like, well, I
Right.
don't know when it's gonna be
Yeah.
submitted.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, thank
I'll
you.
make a motion to that Jessica will submit this application for the Conservation Commission to the CPC after revisions that were discussed tonight.
I'll second it.
So I'm sorry, we're motioning that Jessica will do this.
Yeah, well, she's our agent. She's
I
doing
know.
it.
Okay,
And-
I'm just making sure. That sounded weird. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll do a roll call. Erica,
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
I'm also an I. Jessica, are you an I?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm not doing too much. I'm
Thank
just
you.
really emailing it.
Yeah, just emailing it.
Because
Okay.
yeah, they write me back and I'm the contact on the
Okay.
application.
And thank
I
you,
guess-
Travis, for everything that you put into this already.
Yeah,
We
this
really,
is a ton of
Yeah,
work.
I guess I
Um,
mean the Conservation Commission is doing
Yeah.
this
I know,
via
I was-
Jessica,
Right.
via our agent.
well, thank you, Jessica, and also thank you, Travis.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move on to our next item on our agenda, which I think is our last item. The Conti Golly Conservation Area, discuss a thank you letter from the commission, a site visit out to the land, as well as adding some signs marking the boundaries.
Okay, so it's official. It's like official
Yay.
now. We went to the registry of deeds. And it's an official conservation area. I drafted up I know, it's so great. I drafted up a couple thank yous. The mayor sent one for their official like records for tax purposes, but I thought we should send one too, because we're the ones who kind of received it and are managing it and been communicating with them the whole time. So I just wrote up a letter. I wanted to see if I have your blessing to send it. Send it.
That was so thoughtful. Let's see it.
Okay.
I thought I thought it was good. There was one place where actually,
Oh, did you
I
read
don't know.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Easton one, I think there was one place where, I don't know, Word actually pointed out like this didn't make sense or something, and so it's like
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
blue underlined,
So
and I
on
agree
behalf
with
of
that.
the
It was a little bit.
Greenfield Conservation Commission, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your incredibly generous gift of 2
Nice.
parcels of land.
Parcels, yeah.
Got
okay.
it.
But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was very, yeah.
Should I read it aloud or should I share my
Yeah.
screen?
Well,
What would you guys like?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read it yet, so I wouldn't mind seeing it really quickly, and it would make
Okay.
sense to share it in a public meeting. And that
Okay.
is such a thoughtful, I don't know if we've ever done that before. Like, you're the first one who's ever thought of that since my tenure anyways. That's really thoughtful.
Well, to send a thank you. I mean, they gave land. It seems
I mean,
like-
well,
I
I've
don't,
only
we
been
forgot. I don't know if we've gotten
Hasn't
too much,
happened in a
much
while.
land, but
yeah, it's been a long time, and I've only been on the Concom for 5 years, but still, that's very thoughtful. Good,
It
good
is,
job.
Okay, so I said, on behalf of the Greenfield Concom, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your incredibly generous gift of 2 parcels of land on March 19, 2025, assessor parcel, this and that. This remarkable contribution of 12.296 and 14.186 acres respectively is a permanent gift to the community and will be protected for future generations. As you know, the city of Greenfield formally accepted this donation following a vote by the city council on August 20th, 2025. The deed was recorded at the registry of deeds on October 14th, 2025. This gift of land will be managed by the Conservation Commission, used for conservation and passive recreation purposes. And side note, this is like for the record so that they have, when they're dealing with like taxes and stuff, they need kind of like a formal declaration of like the facts. So that's why I was getting so specific. But back to the letter. A decision of this magnitude requires careful thought and consideration. Your commitment to the long-term well-being of the community is an inspiration to us all. These actions ensure the property's natural resources and scenic qualities will be preserved and a lasting part of the city's legacy. Please keep this letter with your records of the donation. Thank you again for the extraordinary generosity. Maybe I said generosity a few too many times. And then sincerely, Jessica Siegel, conservation agent. So yeah, I signed it because I opened it with on behalf of the Greenfield Concom.
yeah.
I would like to, so anyway, any feedback?
So
the
where
only
a gift and 2 are underlined, I think you want the word of.
Yeah,
Is that what you were talking about, Erica? In the beginning? Okay.
I'll edit that.
And my only other thought was, because you were being very specific, and I don't know if it make it sound nice, was to say maybe following a unanimous vote by the city council.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Just,
yes,
Was unanimous. That's right.
yeah.
it was.
So, I mean, I'm not sure what we do if it wasn't, we list like, but
I
since it was.
Yeah.
It was.
It makes it sound even more like
Yeah,
we're all
impressive.
behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And everybody appreciated it, and
Yeah, everyone did. Yeah, absolutely.
I was wondering if we could add the name of the conservation land, like maybe where it says this
yeah.
gift of land will be managed by the Conservation Commission as the Conti Gully Conservation
Yeah,
Area.
okay.
Yeah,
Ooh,
to be-
that's a
yeah,
good
something like-
idea.
yeah,
And used for
yeah,
conservation.
to be known
passive
as
recreation.
something
Yeah,
like-
then we'll
yeah.
make more tags like we have for Griswold. Oh, love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, yeah, I'll make those edits and I'm gonna mail them out tomorrow. And
Yeah,
I
but
do think it's
otherwise I thought it
interesting.
was really,
Think it's interesting, just like on a note about the dates, like how long this
Yeah.
process takes,
yeah,
you know, we've
yeah,
been
exactly.
talking to
It was
them
a long
for
time.
over a year, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know, they made it official on their end on the 19th, but it took until, you know, October. So
It's really 6 months, yeah.
That's
yeah.
not even that long, actually. That's a smooth process.
Yeah, I know. I was like, have we heard from the lawyer yet? Have we learned? Like, I'm like, let's, you know, because they need it to happen by a certain point, like in the tax year, for them
Oh,
to do
yeah.
the stuff on their
Oh.
end. So,
Gotcha.
Okay.
I was sweating it a little bit, but we did it. So,
Yay.
Good job. It's very happy. We haven't had an
Mm.
actual donation in a long time, so that was really exciting.
Yeah.
well, so if I just want to add to the excitement a touch. So, Randy, one of the donators, brother reached out and he's considering donating his
Oh, wow.
parcel just to the south, which is this highlighted one.
Does it have a road to it? On
Well,
the south?
It doesn't
no.
matter if it's
No.
contiguous with the other open
I know,
space.
contiguous.
Yeah.
No, I think,
And
well, Travis was thinking about for access, right?
On the east.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the Shelburne Road. So basically, he just called, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
but there
all-
is access, but there would be public access off that end, that dead end, right? By the end of R 3720-0. So there could be another public access point on the south. Is that what you're thinking, Travis?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's actually a road though, because it doesn't connect
Where
to
are
anything.
you?
On
30
the right.
Oh, over here. This?
Yeah, yeah.
No, see where your white, or that's
No,
my arrow.
that's someone.
Easement or something?
Yeah, I don't think that's not like a real road.
Oh.
See, it goes from the back of someone's house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So basically, he just called. So this is like very preliminary. These weird little boxes are actually like parcels within the parcel that are not owned by him, which is
Oh.
super
Oh,
strange.
really? Wow.
And his other brother is up here. And when I send, this person's name is Thomas. When I send him information, he's going to talk to his other brother. So anyway,
Wow.
there's potential. And then there is like a little driveway pull off on the other brother's land. But it's all very steep, you know, it fit like a car. So, and the city owns this parcel up here, 37-38, but I drove by it today and it's basically bedrock. It doesn't look like I don't think we'd be able to create a public access, but that ideally that would be great right off Mohawk Trail, and then you could
Yeah.
like hike up. Anyway, there's this ball has not stopped moving. There is momentum, and I will keep you guys updated. But the other thing I wanted to do besides the thank yous tonight was just talk about if you guys want to go there with me. Because I'd like to do a site visit when it's not frozen and just check it out now that we own it, and then, you know, potential signage. It's definitely not ready for like we need to like talk about public access and trails, and, you know, maybe that's a CPA application in the future, down the road. But anyway, anyone up for a site visit?
Yeah, circulate some
Potentially.
dates. I mean, weekdays are always hard for me 'cause, you know, I work, but
Yeah.
you know, circulate some dates. That'd be
Okay.
a good start.
Okay. Great.
Awesome. So we don't need to like do any vote or anything on that. That's just an update.
I don't think a vote needs to
Business?
happen.
All right, well, then next on our agenda, we have enforcement updates. Any new updates on enforcements or project
No.
monitoring, correspondence, or site visits?
No,
Well,
no
then
to
that
all.
concludes our agenda. And then just as a reminder, our next hearing or next meeting, which was normally scheduled for November 11th, was canceled, right?
Yes,
Veterans Day.
All right, Veterans Day. And then the one after that is the 25th, which is kind of close to Thanksgiving, but it's only 2 days before Thanksgiving. So we could still do that, right? We're still hanging on to the 25th.
yes.
So our next scheduled Conservation Commission meeting is November 25th, 2025.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. We're on record. I will definitely be there. Do we have any other business that wasn't, foreseen or reasonably anticipated that anybody wants to address?
I do not.
I'll move to adjourn.
Love it.
Second.
I heard a motion in a second. I'll take a roll call. Erica,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
I'm also an I. I'm like turning into a pumpkin. I'm so tired.
Mm.
Well, it's good to see you guys. Sorry I had technical difficulties tonight.
Oh, that was actually not bad. I don't think. I mean, yeah.
Really?
wasn't.
I tried to log
Yeah.
into my phone all fast. That was so
Yeah.
frustrating that my computer just like shut. It was like, we're rebooting now. I was like, what? I'm in the middle of a meeting.
Right.
This is so annoying.
Probably would not have even noticed, except that he said something like, "Oh, Kristen, does that make it better?" Like, and it was like pause,
I'm
like
like
quiet,
radio
like,
silent. I'm like logging into my
Yeah.
phone all fast. I'm like,
Mm.
God
Yeah,
darn
he's
it.
like,
well,
does
maybe
that
she's
make
still looking for
sense?
something, like,
I'm so sorry about that. That was, yeah, that was a 1 in a million thing. So, all right, well, I guess have a wonderful Veterans Day.